Nothing lasts forever. Sig P365XL, this one's sexed up by my buddy at Boresight Solutions. The Sig site, I'll talk a little bit about that, has given up the ghost, and we've got a training program coming up here, the Big S12 event, and this is the gun that my lady shoots. I don't know if you can see through there, but that super soft lens material, trying to clean it on the range over the last year has made it look about as cloudy as scratched up glass or plastic, probably in this case. So I went ahead and I ordered the Holosun. This is the EPS Carry RDS. Ordered this up, paid for it with my own money, and I'm going to swap this dot out. So I'll talk a little bit throughout this quick video on the P365, my experiences with it, and kind of just chat about what I like, what I don't like, and why I chose this dot. So Mickey at CarryTrainer.com. We are professional firearms instructors. When this platform came out, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, whatever it's been, I jumped on it. I like to try new things. I like the idea of deep concealment with the added round count. And I probably own somewhere between 8 and 10 of these pistols, the original 365, the XL, the later iterations of it. I own them in various conditions of wear and tear, and some of them are just tore apart and I've had to strip them for parts, and I'll talk about that too. So I'm going to get this new dot mounted, and we'll talk a little bit about some of that stuff as we go. So the 365, most of us have seen it, we know about it, it's a great little gun. What I've found, and there is extensive videos, well, there's a lot of little parts in here. There's extensive videos, there's the new site, of that gun on our channel. And amazingly, it's an easy shooting gun. Unamazingly, they're really prone to breakage. I've talked about this a lot. I'm a Glock guy when it comes down to it. You know, this isn't a fanboy thing. I'm a carpenter by trade, and this thing is a hammer. You can abuse the snot out of them. This is my trusty G45. Give me a 19, give me a 17, and you know what you're going to get out of it. You know that you are going to get a really durable gun. These little pistols are meant to be shot. They're meant to be carried, but they're not meant to be abused in the training environment that we use them in. Strikers have broken numerous times on them. The trigger return bar, which is right in here, it's basically what allows the trigger to reset. The trigger return bar, or the trigger bar spring, pardon me. So the trigger bar spring, and the striker, I have seen quite a few of those break. This particular pistol, the slide is stripped. The front sight insert fell out, gave up the ghost. They're just not built for the things that we're doing to them. But if you're using it for what it's intended for, I think they're fine. So I'm going to dig into this dot a little bit, kind of see what I got to do. I'll probably hit pause for a minute. I've never installed this particular sight, so I want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. So we'll be right back. And we're back. So I did a little reading and made sure there was nothing I was going to miss. I think it's worth doing so that you don't mess something up. Anyway, something I think is super important. So this optic comes with, this one that I purchased comes with 3 different sets of screws. Make sure you're using the right ones, and make sure that they're not going to be too long. And the simplest way to do that is to assemble the optic, and I'll show you this in greater detail in a moment. You can measure how much of that screw is hanging out, and then you can pop the screw out and you can thread the screw into the slide and take your measurement, and if they add up and you don't have too much, you'll be fine. This particular pistol, that screw threads into open space below the receiving part of the female threads. But with certain pistols like Glocks and other pistols, I've seen people put the wrong screws in there and screw up the function of the gun. I've seen the wrong screws shear off. I've seen the wrong screws come loose. So easy failure point to address. Make sure when mounting this that you're using the correct backer plate. So this one comes with numerous holes drilled in it so that it fits onto the popular pistols. And you could, I'm not telling you to, you could just drop this onto the slide and mount it without this, but you would be losing out. And here's why. So if you look at this plate, this mounting plate, you'll see there's a few raised bosses on here. There's 4 to be exact, and those bosses fit into some recesses on the bottom of the sight. So what's happening is it's spreading out the load as this thing's cycling on the slide across that plate and helping it stay secure. So a couple more things worth noting. These screws that are supplied ship with some Loctite on them, some blue Loctite, and this tool that is supplied has both the adjustment head on it and the head for tightening the screws, taking the battery out, etc. So make sure you've cleaned the slide, which I've done. I used a little brush here, get all that dirt and debris off because I want to make sure this thing is flat. And actually, as I'm doing this, I'm noticing that there is still a little bit of adhesive from the old backer plate from Sig. It's not adhesive, but it's the rubbery material that was on the bottom of that other sight. This is a great product, by the way. These are women's makeup sponges, and as you see here, it pulls grease and dirt off of whatever object you wipe it on. These are also coincidentally the same material that's used in fire restoration. So the companies that do fire restoration, they wipe down surfaces and it pulls sooting off of areas that were impacted by fire. So cleanliness, as I was saying, can't be stressed enough. The next point that's worth noting is torque specifications. If you don't have access to a torque wrench, buy one or borrow one. I actually do not have my torque wrench in the room I am in, so before I zero this, the torque wrench is up in the trailer. I am going to grab it and torque these. And I noticed in the paperwork, unless I missed it, it doesn't tell you the torque specs. So I checked that with the sight manufacturer, in this case Holosun, and we're looking at about 15 inch-pounds. But you need to check for whatever sight you're installing and make sure that you're using the right torque specs. It's really easy to over-tighten these screws. It's really easy to under-tighten these screws. And one of the biggest failures that we see, so we've got dudes that come into class and they have a badass sight and they can't hold zero. I walk up and I wiggle and I go, oh, this sucker's loose. And usually at that point, we'll just take it all apart, clear the gun out, take it all apart and verify that it's put together correctly, because oftentimes just tightening it up at this point, you don't know what other manner of nonsense has gone on. So I'm going to verify that it's on there correctly. I'm going to check my torque specs. Then we're going to shoot out to the range here in just a second and we're going to zero it. So why don't you come with me to zero it and we'll get that done. All right, out on the range, we've got our dot mounted up. And now I want to confirm zero. I've got a piece of cardboard. In fact, I've actually filmed the whole video and just realized that my microphone was muted. So we're going to do it again. And the cool thing is it's going to give me another opportunity to work on my pitch. So this dot, according to Holosun, is got a 25-yard zero. Well, why would I want that? Why wouldn't you? Most stock service pistols, Glock, Beretta, etc., are going to be, or sights that you purchase, are going to be set up to be zeroed from 25 to 50-ish yards or meters, depending on where you're buying it, what you're buying, etc. All a zero is a fixed point in space where our line of sight and our targets, or the target, coalesces. Line of sight, target, and bullets coalesce. So a little quick diagram here. My excellent drawing skills. We'll go to this one. This is better. Here's the pistol. Here's the sight, height over bore. We've got a target out here. Basically, we're creating a triangle. Our line of sight and the bullet join at some space, at some point. And the reason that we're creating a triangle is we're not looking through the bore. Our vision is up here, 3/4 of an inch, depending on the pistol or the rifle, could be 2-3 inches. That your height of your sight is over the bore. So at some predetermined point out there, we are going to adjust this optic so that it and the path of the bullet meet. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to, because I shot my other target up, I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to make a couple marks on here, and we're going to go to 10 yards first and then 25. And when I go to 10, there's a reason for it. I'm just trying to get a rough confirmation. Back to the diagram real quick. If that's 25 yards, if I fall back to 10, I would expect to see my bullet do what? If the response is hit below the line of sight or my aiming point, then you'd be correct. So if I'm going to put this out there, I'm going to put my mark up, and I'm going to expect at 10 yards to see a little group below 3/4 of an inch, half inch. I don't know the exact math on this particular zero, because it's not worth the time to do it. I can quickly, faster than I've explained all this, set it up and shoot a few rounds and see where they're striking. Then I'm going to drag my stuff back and we'll zero at the 25. Let's do it. I'll get this set up. As you'll see in a moment, I've got a couple of target pasters that I'm using to shoot at. So that will be my aiming point at 10 and 25 yards. I'll go throw this out on the target. All right, so I got my 10-yard target, and I am going to work from right here. I want to show you guys a couple things. So first of all, when zeroing, we are doing nothing more than calibrating a tool. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to verify my pistol's cleared out, and I'm going to get myself set up just like I would if I was firing this exercise live. And I want to make sure that everything that I'm going to be using here works for me. Now, why shoot a little target? Well, a couple of things. It's easier for most of us to superimpose our sight or our dot on a small target, easier than it is to try to center it on a big target. So if you've got a big old 2, 3, 4-inch bullseye out there, trying to chase your dot or sight around and try to figure out if it's centered, it's a lot easier to just put your dot or sight on something that is not that big, and you know it's either on it or it's not on it. So these target pasters are like 7/8 of an inch, somewhere around there. And if you dim your dot down to a brightness that doesn't cover up that whole target, it really helps. So here we go. I'm going to make sure I got a good grip, and I'm just going to fire 3, 4, 5 rounds and verify my 10-yard hits. Oh, that one was junk. Relax for a minute, get back on it. Make sure my grip is good. That was better. I'll fire 1 or 2 more. That was better. All right, finger straight. I'm going to clear this out because as I go to 25, I'm going to dry fire again. Let me show you the target real quick. I'll show you what I was feeling and looking at. So, first shot, second shot, third shot, and then 4, 5, and 6. So here's 3. And I felt these 2, my grip was just not as nice as I would like. This shot, I totally moved. So the total group distance, and you can see my fingers here. I've got good size hands, but I'm not Goliath. I can easily cover all of them with my thumb. So we're probably about 1.5 inch group there. And now I'm going to fall back and I'll shoot here, down lower, at 25. So we'll get that set up right now. You see the cone I've got out there is our 25-yard mark. Let's get set up. All right, we're back here at the 25. See the target out there. And I'm going to do the same thing that I just did. I'm going to get my mag topped off here. And what I really want you guys to take away, if you've seen any of the videos where we talk about this stuff, this process is not a hurried process. This process is not a process that I'm not trying to win zeroing. This is what I would say is almost a Zen process. I am finding some relaxation. It's meditative. When I miss or I throw those shots, and while those misses are 1 inch from that little tiny target, they're still a miss. I am inducing movement, and in order to improve, we have to be aware. And in order to be aware, I have to choose to shut off the airplane. I have to not pay attention to the camera when I'm shooting, or the students, or the wind, or anything else. I need to put my focus into my grip, my sights, my trigger. I dim my dot a little too much. I'm just going to adjust that a touch. This Sorinex sandbag, it really is a great tool for this. Try this, see if that feels any better. One thing I don't want to do is shoot my sandbag. These sandbags were a gift made for me by my dear friend Derek Balboa almost, 20 years ago. Oh, that felt good. I'm going to do one more. Derek was a U.S. Army sniper instructor down at Fort Benning. Bona fide American hero. Retired now. I look forward to getting out on the range with him after all these years and using these sandbags that have traveled around the country with me. Okay, I'm going to go live now. I'm going to go live. That felt good. It looks to be about 1 inch right of my target. I'm going to ensure my grip is not moving. Oh, that one was junk. So something else worth noting. This pistol built for me by Boresight Solutions, my buddy Ben. I really had him optimize this for my ladies' hands. My hand, this finger catch down here is a little too small, this distance for my man hands. It's not perfect. It's totally doable. Damn it, I burned my bean bag. Don't burn your bean bag. Sounds like a bad carnival game. Burn your bean bag. Here we go. Which, I'm going to ace that. I'm going to be stitching that up here in a minute, because I'm not going to have that go bad. All right. Steady, get steady. All right, that was good. Relax, relax, relax. Let your hands relax. Come back to it. How tight should you be holding it? As tight as you can without trembling. Inducing too much tremor into the gun would be a good rule of thumb. So this group is way bigger than I like. I'm going to fire one more. Then I'm going to run down there. I'm going to show you that. We're going to come back and do it one more time. Let's go check it out. So I'm going to consider this group a throwaway group in the sense that I think I can just get a hell of a lot steadier. So come down in here. This was the shot that I said felt really good. First, second, third, and then these last two. That's about a 4-inch group, 3.5, 4-inch group. Not what I'm digging on. So I'm going to come back to the other side here. This is a lot of human error, human movement. So I'll move to the right one there, and we'll do it again. Take my time. I'm going to take a break for a second. My hand is a little sore from gripping, and we'll come right back to it. All right, and we're back, and we're back. Man, you guys got to see me burn my beanbag. As soon as I get back to the house, I'm going to be stitching that up. Can't have a burned beanbag. All right. Got a good grip, feeling good behind the gun. What I'm looking at right now is if I want to use that upper or lower target. I'm seeing which one is easier for me to align with less torque on my body. Here we go. Not happy with that. Keep tightening it up. That was better, right in the paster. Beautiful autumn day. I'm happy to be spending it with you guys and maybe girls. Something I'm noticing just worth talking about, because this video started with me swapping a Sig dot. Clearly this is brand new. The other one's been beat up for over a year. Very clear. The dot is much nicer. And of course, dots appear different to different people, eyeglasses, astigmatisms, things like that. But this dot is very clear. There's very little aberrations that are happening out on the target. Some dots you can see problems with the glass, things not being uniform, etc. Very nice optic to look through. As this company's not paying me a dime. I paid for this dot full price off of the interweb. So just making sure we understand that. I like that one. It was just south of the target by about a 1/2 inch of the paster. I'll fire one more, I think. Here, my hands are starting to get tired. All right, I'm going to holster up. I'm going to take you guys downrange, and then we'll test this on some steel. Zeroing is, I don't want to say it's an art, but it's a meditative state. And what I really like to find out here, I'm going to spin you guys around. What I really like to find out here is what I'm capable of. Here's 3 shots, guys, into the paster, and they're touching. Here's the one that I said I felt was a good shot. It's about a 1/2 inch below. Here's my first shot. not good at all. 2.5 inches, 3 inches to the right. These couple of shots at 25 yards, 2 inches, an inch isn't bad. But what I want to understand and want us to understand is the gun is totally capable of it. And that's, I lied there, that's just 2 rounds. I thought I saw 3 there. So I believe that's just 2 rounds into the paster. But we see by looking at that, that we've got the capabilities with the platform. The stuff that's happening with the movement, that's me. That's me. I moved 2 inches. I moved 2 inches. I moved 1 inch. I moved 1 inch. I moved a half inch. I did that, but we can see a couple of things here. The group is spread left to right across the target. It's not clustered on one side or below or something like that. You do see that some of these rounds are trending high. I feel that that's me. That's me doing that with that grip. That's ground for a lady's hand. I believe the heel of my hand is driving in there. So I'm kind of having to adjust my shooting. Let's ring a ding ding a little steel, shall we? Eyes and ears. Here we go. I'll bring this dot brightness up a little bit since now we don't have to kind of lost the dot there for a second. Not the dot's fault, my fault. A little tack maggage. It's a very clear dot. Couple misses in there, pushing a little too hard. How about we run this sucker out to 50 yards on some steel and just see how that works. We'll cut down to the side berm. We'll check that out. So we got this target here. I'll talk to you as I walk. So just initial thoughts. I've seen these plenty of in classes and on other people's guns. Very nice and bright. Very clear. I like the closed emitter. That's huge. I also really like its compactness, but in its compactness, it's still a good size window. I'm an iron-sighted guy, guys. That's just the way it's gonna be. But I do not shun technology. I just dig it. I dig it for what it is. So let's check this out. So 50 yards down there. Zoom you back out. Actually, right now where the camera sits, it's about 55. So I'm going to step in front of you and try to position you. Pardon the camera situations. All right. Let's see if we can get a little ring-a-ling-ding-ding-ding-ding-ding. Can you see me? I hope so. Here we go. There we go. I got to dim this dot. Here we go. Whew, my hands are tired. All that zeroing and gripping wore me out. Had a couple misses in there. That's just the way it goes sometimes. I don't want to say it's okay to miss, but you miss. I've been gripping the snot out of this little gun for the better part of an hour making this video. My hands are smoked. You can get hits up close, out to 50. We've got a good 25-yard zero on here, which for me is a preferred number. 20, 25, 30 yards on a pistol sight gives you a lot of good options up close to all points in between. We'll see how this dot works out over time. The Holosun EPS Carry, and this one is not the solar model. And the reason I didn't go with that, I'm not into the solar stuff. I don't even know if they make the solar one in this particular site. I've just seen a lot of problems with them on the ranges. My experience with our classes and our students, by problems, I mean things shutting off when people don't want them to, having to mess around with it to get it to come back on. I like simple. I just want to turn it on, get what I need out of it, and be able to rock out. Thank you to my buddy at Boresight Solutions for continuing to do awesome work, Ben Simonson. Doesn't give me this stuff, I pay for it. Support the people that you love, man. Support your homies. Tatargets, great people. Top-notch steel target, Super Vel ammunition, amazing ammo made in Henderson, Nevada. Top-notch stuff. Dark Star Gear made this great holster that we're using today. And as always, please check out Ignis Lux Coffee. If you're into drinking good coffee, we roast it ourselves with love, shipped right to your door. Classes available at CarryTrainer.com. And we just put the next S12 event up. Today is the 7th or 8th of November, 2024. So if you're watching this in the future, that event is October 2025. The one that's next week, sold out. We'll see you soon. Be well. Don't be dickheads. Get out in nature, enjoy it, do some shooting. Peace. Something I almost forgot to tell you. Make sure after you do your zeroing with a new dot to recheck torque specs. Make sure these guys didn't come loose. Give the dot a once over. Make sure that nothing that you mounted on there has come off. That'll pay dividends, especially if you're carrying this. Target practice and things like that, cool. But if you're carrying it to depend on for life, make sure that you've rechecked zero.